decided to take GCSE Japanese and you have no idea what to do? Well then, you're at the right place because I've got loads of tips and tricks to help you get a good grade. There are 4 exams that make up the Japanese GCSE: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. For the writing, you're going to have to memorize 200 kanji, and in the past exams you were allowed a dictionary, but the rules changed, so now you need to memorize how to write them as well as knowing how to read them. There are 5 topics that you need to learn: identity and culture, local area, holiday and travel, school, future aspirations, study and work, and international and global dimension. All of the themes must be studied in the context of your home country and the countries and communities where Japanese is spoken. That was just a brief summary of the GCSE, so if you want to know more, you can go to the edXL website and they'll have the entire spec for the GCSE. Something that I found really helpful in learning kanji is printing out a kanji list and putting it in a clear plastic folder so that you can trace over it with a whiteboard pen and try to memorize them. There are really great free kanji sheets on the website japaneseforschools.co.uk and you can print out the sheets so that it's double-sided, so you can trace the definition and the kanji on one side, and then the other side is blank, so you have to remember what the kanji is. They also have really great hiragana and katakana sheets, which you can do the same thing with. You've probably noticed that there are no official workbooks for the GCSE Japanese, but japaneseforschools.co.uk has workbooks for each unit that you can use to practice. Tip 2 is to write journal entries. You should write them every day. This would help with preparing for the writing exam, and when you write the journal entries, make sure that you use as much kanji as possible. You could write about your day, you could write about anything really. Another thing I did was lots and lots of practice papers. Here's some examples of the answers I wrote, and after I wrote my answer, I went in with a red or blue pen to correct my mistakes so that I could see where I went wrong and improve. You can easily find the past papers if you search up practice papers GCSE Japanese, and there's loads of websites where you can find past papers. I think you can also find some example papers on the edXL website. Tip number 4 is read manga or Japanese books. This would really help with your reading and maybe even writing. Tip number 5 is create set phrases and memorize them. This can help in the writing exam and the speaking exam because you already know what to write or say when in the exam, and in different contexts it would be easy to just change the wording to fit the question. Tip number 6 is look at examiner reports. The examiner reports are great because you can learn from previous students' mistakes and you can use the tips that the examiners give when you're taking the exam. As you can see, they provide examples of previous students' work, which is helpful because you can see the difference between an essay that gets a high mark and an essay that gets a lower mark. If you read the examiner's comments, you can see why the student got the mark that they did for that piece of writing. Here is a list of some of the tips that the examiners gave. Tip 7, which is listen to Japanese podcasts, is kind of similar to tip 4. Tip 7 will help you with your listening exam. I think this revision method is great because you can listen to the podcast anywhere. Quizlet is a free website where you can make your own flashcards and has lots of different study methods that you can do using your flashcards. They also have ready-made flashcards that are specifically for GCSE. They do have Japanese GCSE flashcards which you can use to revise. Another thing I did was write down vocab that I thought was going to be useful in the exam. To learn the kanji, I just repeatedly wrote down the kanji while saying the meaning of what I was writing down out loud, which helped a lot to remember them. Feel free to leave any questions below if you are still confused or want more information about something. I really hope these tips helped, and good luck in your exam!